very good morning. Salam Ramadan for those who are having their fasting time now. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to MSPO webinar 2025 brought to you by Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil, MSPO. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ajeng Jokwan and I'm honored to be your moderator today. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, on behalf of our CEO and head of divisions, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to all of our speakers today, Mr. Darmarisyanto, Mr. Joseph Tanson, and technologist Mr. Mohd Amin Adrah, okay? And to all of you, our participants, for joining us today. We truly appreciate your time and participation today. So we hope that by today's session, today's session will enrich you further in your MSPO certification journey. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, I would like to take a moment to brief to you some of our housekeeping rules to ensure that we'll have a smooth session today. Ladies and gentlemen, this webinar will last approximately 2 hours. Okay? The participants' microphones are muted. And we also would invite your comments and questions at the end of each speaker's session. Yeah. So later my colleague will share the QR code. And please scan the QR code and submit your question via the online form. We will select and answer your questions during the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, this session will be recorded and will be made available on our social media platform, Facebook and LinkedIn, and also our video sharing platform channel on YouTube for future reference. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we will have an insightful lineup of discussion covering MSPO update, MSPO readiness, and responsible sourcing. And for today, we are privileged to have 3 distinguished speakers who will share their expertise and perspective. Without further ado, let me introduce to you guys our first speaker, Mr. Darmarisyanto bin Alias, or better known as Mr. Shan. Mr. Shan is a seasoned professional with over a decade of experience in the palm oil industry. Specializing in sustainable palm oil certification, his expertise encompasses sustainability and management system certification audits, consulting, and training. Mr. Shan's career in sustainable palm oil certification began with Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council (MPOCC), now known as the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil (MSPO). He holds a Bachelor degree of Science in Computer Science from PC Rosin College of Engineer and Applied Science at Lehigh University of Pennsylvania. And as a pioneer at MSPO, Mr. Shan played a pivotal role in developing the National Sustainability Certification Scheme, contributing significantly to the growth of the MSPO ecosystem in Malaysia and advancing the country's sustainable palm oil agenda. Currently, Mr. Shan is overseeing the operation of the MSPO certification scheme as the manager, and he has been instrumental in developing and implementing this crucial program for the Malaysian palm oil industry. Through rigorous audits and assessments, Mr. Shan has guided numerous palm oil producers in improving their practices while prioritizing environmental protection and social responsibility. He actively shares his extensive knowledge and experience through numerous talks, seminars, community webinars, establishing himself as a trusted advocate for the Malaysian palm oil industry. He effectively communicates the industry's prospects and perspective while fostering a culture of sustainable practices. Without further ado, gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Shan with his topic, MSPO update, MSPO 2.0, moving forward. Mr. Shan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Ajik, for the very comprehensive details of my introduction. Okay, you can call me Shan Alias. So currently I'm holding manager positions for the certification scheme unit in MSPO itself. So let me share my slide. Okay, can maybe Mr. Ajay, can you see my slide?
Yep.
Okay, so basically my topic for today, I will explain about the MSPO 2.0 or well known also as a MS 2530 2022 standard on how we're going to moving forward for this one. So the content of my slide will be segmentations into a few segments. So basically, I will going to introduce the MSPO 2.0 standard series. Then I'm going to talk about the MSPO certification in the Malaysian palm oil value chain. And then after that, I'm going to explain slightly a little bit more about the MSPO certification, why it is important to us, and a brief introduction about the MSPO 2.0. I'm also going to talk about the MSPO recognitions globally and also in Malaysia and on the collaborations that we have so far with the international market. And also what is the MSPO focus for the this year, 2025, and the value proportions for MSPO. So basically MSPO 2.0 standard series will start developing in 2022. So previously, we do have the MSPO 1.0, which is the MS 2530 2013 standard series. So basically, for the MSPO 2.0, we have seven auditable part, which is, as you can see on the screen, the part one basically is just general principles. So it's the introductions or definitions about the terms that we use in this standard. And then we have the MSPO Part 2.1, where we focus on the independent smallholders, where their land basically is less than 40.46 hectares. And then we do have the MSPO Part 2.2 for the organized smallholders. Basically, these organized smallholders, this is the smallholders that are basically managing by the local state government, like for example, FELDA, FELCRA, SLDB, and so forth. And then we also have the MSPO 3.1. So basically, this is for the oil palm plantations, the ranging from 40.46 hectares to 500 hectares. And also we have the part 3.2 for all other oil palm plantations above the 500 hectares. And then after that, we're going for the processing facilities, part 4.1, basically focus on the palm oil mill, including the supply chain requirements, and also the part 4.2 for the palm oil processing facilities, such as refinery, oleochemical, and so on. And then we also have the MSPO part 4.3. This is the new one that we introduced for this MSPO 2.0, where basically we focus on the general principles for dealers, including the supply chain requirements. So basically, this is the graph that you probably is better explanations. So the MS 2.1 until 3.2, basically they are the small, medium, and the large estate, and also our smallholders, regardless of their independent or they are the organized smallholders. And then after that is the MSPO 4.3 part 4.3, which is our dealers. And then after that, MSPO, there's a corrections over there. So actually is a MSPO part 4.1, palm oil mill. And then our processing facilities, part 4.2, whereby we have our refinery, kernel crushers, biodiesel plants, and oleochemical. And then the product manufacturers, they send their product to the retailers and then to the consumers. So why MSPO certification is important to us? So first of all, it's because of the EUDR requirements. So MSPO basically complies with the EUDR, which is a mandatory for exporting to the EU. So MSPO certification helps to ensure that the palm oil basically meet the stringent traceability and sustainability requirements set by the EUDR. So in Malaysia, we actually have a collaboration with EFI, European Forest Institute, to do the gap analysis with between MSPO and the UDR requirements. And also on the sustainability side, MSPO certifications promote sustainable agricultural practices to ensure that palm oil is produced in an environmentally friendly manner. So this includes the responsible on the land use, the biodiversity conservations, and reducing on the greenhouse gas emissions. On the global demand, MSPO source products grows and MSPO certification helps these Malaysian palm oil products to remain competitive in the international markets. It aligns with the expectations of the consumers and business to seek sustainable and ethical products. We also, for the MSPO 2.0, we actually include a new elements, HCV and SIA. So the certifications actually demonstrate our commitment to the social and environmental responsibility and also the market access for the smallholders, especially. So MSPO certification can significantly have a benefit to our smallholders in Malaysia by improving their market access and also to help them to meet the international standards. So basically, MSPO was launched earlier in 2013, what we call as also MSPO 1.0. So MSPO incorporated in 2014 under the Company Acts of 1965, and we are governed by a 13-member of Board of Trustees. So our visions are empowering Malaysian sustainable palm oil for a greener future, and our tagline is MSPO nurturing sustainable palm oil for our future. In basically, if you flashback in 2015, MSPO during that time is a voluntarily certifications begin, and we start to make it mandatory MSPO announcement in 2019. So our mission statement, as you can see, that is to ensure that Malaysian palm oil is environmentally sustainable, economically viable, and social equitable through certifications. So this MSPO 2.0 was launched in 2022, whereby we introduced a new elements to make our certifications more robust. So what are the MSPO 2.0, the new key elements that we have? So these MSPO 2.0, it is actually a standard that support the Sustainable Development Goals SDG 2030 by incorporated the elements into the revised standard. The process of the revised standard took about almost 5 years, and it took about more than I think about 50,000 man hours on that for the developing of the MSPO 2.0. And then we also have these introduction on the incorporated of the high conservation value, HCV, approach to the major part of the palm oil industry. And we also introduced the incorporated social impact assessment, SIA, to all level of the MSPO standard users. At the same time, we also introduced and incorporated the greenhouse gas calculation, GHG, for the entire supply chain. As for now, we has been established and published the social impact assessment. The guidelines are publicly available in our website, MSPO. And for this year, we aim to publish the guidelines for the HCV and also introduce our GHG calculator to the palm oil industry in Malaysia. And we also, in this MSPO 2.0 also, there is a new planting cutoff date on the 31st December 2019, whereby no conversion of HCV area, protected area, and natural forest. We also incorporated the ILO, International Labour Organization, forced labor indicators, and also ILO decent work agenda, and also the triangular employments in our new standard MSPO 2.0. So the process for MSPO certification process, especially if our viewers are dealers, so this is the process, the whole process of the certification of MSPO. The first things you need to do is the preparations, whereby you need to understand the MSPO standard. You need to learn the requirements. Starting from last year, our team in MSPO actually go on the ground to different state of Malaysia to introduce the dealers certifications. So we go on the ground, we give a briefing to the dealers group. We introduce actually the dealers' requirements for them to understand more about the MSPO standard. And then also in the preparation stage, whereby the internal assessments, you need to identify the gaps to meet the standards itself. After that, you will go for the second stage, which is the application stage. You need to select an SCB. SCB stands for Accredited Certification Body. In Malaysia, currently, we have about 23 certification body which are accredited by our AB, Department of Standard Malaysia. In our website, there is a list of 23 CBs that are accredited by DSM that we publish publicly to the industry, whereby you need, if you're interested or if you want to submit applications, you need to apply for certification through this SCB. The third stage will be the initial audit. In initial audit, we have two stages, stage one and stage two. In stage one is basically a documents review whereby the CB, the certification body, will review your documentations. And after that, you will move on to the stage two, on the on-site audit, on the ground audit. So the certification bodies need to verify the compliance through interviews of field inspections and record reviews. Once the initial audit, the stage one, stage two done, the report will be sent to our peer reviewer, MSPO peer reviewer. Currently in Malaysia for the MSPO 2.0, we have about 20 plus endorsed peer reviewer. So this report, this audit report will be reviewed by these peer reviewers for their second opinion. After it's done, then we go for the stage five, whereby the certification decisions will be made. So the CB will make the decision based on the audit findings. And after the audit findings are closed, you will be issued MSPO certification, whereby you will receive the MSPO certificate if you are compliant to all the requirements. After the first year of this initial audit, you will go for second, third, and fourth year for the surveillance audit. So this surveillance audit is a regular audit, ongoing compliance, whereby the certification body need to check the requirements are met and done. After that, you will go for the recertification audit. Like for example, last time in 2013 standard MSPO 1.0, most of the certificate holders are already ongoing for the recertification process. They already undergo the recertification audits to maintain the certifications for the MSPO, the continuations for the MSPO 2.0. So MSPO accredited certification bodies include international leading organizations. So as you can see, we do have among the 23 certification bodies that we have for MSPO, we have international leading organizations such as BSI, SGS, Control Union, and so forth. At the same time, we do have a local certification bodies also covering all the region in Malaysia, Sabah, Sarawak, Southern Eastern Peninsula, Malaysia. This is the roadmap of the MSPO international recognitions and collaborations that we have. So basically started in 2018. My MSPO recognized as one of the sustainable sourcing court for the Tokyo Games 2020 for the Japan market. And then after that in 2019 for China, we did sign a MOU with China Green Food Development Center, CGFDC. And by year 2022, in the Philippines, we first MSPO product with logo are exported to the Philippines. We also signed MOU with India market with MPOC and India Vegetable Oil Producer Associations, IVPA. At the same time, on the same year, 2022, in Mongolia, we MSPO product with logo were exported to Mongolia. So in 2023, is the first time in China and also globally, the grain oils and fats Dongguan, China become our first processing facilities outside of Malaysia to be certified with MSPO. And at the same time, in the year 2023, also Japan, METI Japan, MSPO was adopted as a sustainable sourcing tool for the Japan biomass feed-in tariff feed and scheme under the METI Japan. Last year, in 2024, in the UK, TSC recommends MSPO to the Secretary of State for Business and Trade on the UK's accessions protocol. And Japan Ajinomoto, we have a collaboration with them on the human rights due diligence. For this year, MSPO certification are accepted as an official sourcing code for Osaka Expo in Japan for the year 2025. So basically, this prestigious recognition is a testament of MSPO robust standard and commitment to sustainable palm oil productions. At the same
Mr.
time,
Shan, I
yes,
had to interrupt, but you have another 3 minutes.
three
Yeah.
minutes. Okay, I make it
Yes.
short.
Yes.
Okay,
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Ajay. So MSPO on ITC standard map. What is this actually MSPO ITC standard map? So basically, ITC standard map is developed by the International Trade Center, ITC. So basically, it's the world largest database of sustainability standards. So as a joint agency of the United Nations and the World Trade Organizations, ITC basically they plays a critical role in advancing sustainable trade and market access. So basically, for it's a benefit for the international buyers, for our Malaysian smallholders, and also for the broader industry. So this is the focus for MSP on 2025. Our five main criteria, the dealer certifications, the first introduced in MSPO 2.0, adoption the MSPO 2.0, the global recognitions, we want to achieve the global recognition for MSPO without any prejudice, the national traceability system, eMSPO system, and we also would like to enhance the collaboration model to strengthen the collaboration model between MSPO and our stakeholders. So the value proportions are over here. Uh, Basically, it's a national initiative. It's a stakeholder collaborations between all the team players for the palm oil industry in Malaysia. It's a local relevance. It's tailored to address the local environment and social issues, promoting the community engagement and development. A very comprehensive standards. We have a government support, and it's a mandatory certifications, and also we have our traceability, national traceability system to ensure the transparency and accountability throughout the supply chain. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Shan, for your presentation. Yeah, so for now, we will display the QR code for your question for 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly submit your question. And whilst we submit our question, I would like to highlight back some of the interesting point from Mr. Shan's presentation earlier. So right now, MSPO has been placed in the ITC standard map, okay, developed under the collaboration of United Nations and World Trade Organization. So I believe this is a big win for Malaysia, for MSPO, for all the industry, oil palm industry here in Malaysia, getting this big recognition. And of course, our upcoming focus later, we're looking into dealer certification, global recognition, and of course our national traceability platform, which is the EMSPO. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have an ample time already to scan the question. Scan the QR code and submit your question. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let us move on. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered questions like, why do we need to be certified with a sustainability certification? You have been certified with MSPO, perhaps RSPO, and ISCC. Or perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, we ask ourselves sometimes, okay, how does my company contributes to the overall effort of making palm oil sustainable and the world a better and a sustainable place? With our speaker today, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that he can provide some insight to these questions. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joseph is an accomplished procurement professional and leader with over 17 years of experience in Nestlé, specializing in strategic sourcing, supplier management, cost optimization, and sustainability. Throughout his career, Mr. Joseph has successfully built high-performing teams that drove procurement initiatives that enhance supply chain efficiencies, ensured cost savings, drove sustainability, and strengthened supplier relationships all in a bid to deliver on Nestlé's commitment to the consumers, customers, and partners. Committed to excellence, Mr. Joseph is passionate about leveraging market insights, digital transformation, and sustainable practices to drive procurement success. His leadership and strategic mindset make him a valuable asset in navigating today's complex and dynamic procurement landscape. Mr. Joseph, we are excited to hear your insights on responsible sourcing of palm oil. The floor is yours, Mr. Joseph. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Joseph.
Hello.
Hello,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Joseph.
Good
Yes,
morning,
good
everyone.
morning.
Good morning. First of all, thank you very much, Ajang. I mean, the introduction, makes me feel makes me feel very proud. And I must indeed also say a big good morning to the audience. It is a privilege to be here and to represent Nestle Malaysia Singapore in this very important forum. I must also state very early on in the discussion that we as a company and as a group are very proud to be closely associated with MSPO because the vision and the ambition is very much aligned with what we intend to do as Nestle. And in the next couple of slides, I will try to share with you, and you will see that we have a very, very aligned vision to make the world a better place. Uh, and Ajeng, I like the way you started in terms of how and why we do a certification and what does it tie to? Is it because we just want to see a certification and a plaque on the wall that we are certified? Is it just because we want it just to be look cool on social media? Is it just to please our shareholders? And I will try to answer a bit of this question in the slides that I'll be sharing shortly. So if you allow me, and if there are no questions at this particular time, because I see two hands up, I will go into the main presentation. Okay. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, Mr. Joseph, yes.
Okay, fantastic. So it does say on the screen responsible sourcing of palm oil in Nestle. But before I go into the main topic, I would like to take a step back. And really, the step back is to highlight the fact that we just do not do responsible sourcing. Come in, give me a minute. Okay, perfect. So we just don't do responsible sourcing within palm oil, or we just do not look at sustainability within palm oil, or we just don't do any of these great initiatives within palm oil. We do it within our value chain. And really, why do we do it? And that I think Ajahn brings the question that you asked to the very forefront. We are a food company. As you all know, we want to produce good quality food for everyone, for today and the next generation. Today, we produce food for babies, and then we produce food for our aging population as well. And we meet the whole spectrum of consumers. How do we maintain and continue to do this for generations to come? That is the why. Okay, what are we doing? We want to bring a balanced diet to all the people that we service, but ensuring that we are also ensuring a sustainable planet. Because without the planet, we are not able to produce food, which we grow from the planet. So that is, for us, it ties in completely, right? And that is how come our creating shared value principles come to bear. And creating shared value is not a nice to have, it is a business strategy, because without it as a company, we are non-existent. And it is the truth. It is a fact, and we live in the era of fact, and we understand this very, very clearly as Nestle. So we have three big bets where we want to focus our effort. The first one is in the climate. So you will see shortly that we have made very, very bold climate pledges. Okay, in the area of net zero, and we have a clear roadmap. Okay, in agriculture as well, we want to also be part of the voices that intends to revolutionize agriculture and go back to regenerative agriculture. Okay, and this as well, we have a clear roadmap, and all these are publicly announced. And lastly, in terms of our circularity economy, and then in the area of plastic usage, to ensure that we reduce, we use, we reuse, okay, and then we recycle. And this is clear, especially in the packaging area. Also, to ensure that we reduce our food wastages. This also we have a roadmap, and of course, this is with the foundation of course, respecting human rights, ensure that we are involving youth. We are, of course, very respectful of the diversity within the ecosystem, within our population, and also to ensure strict adherence to compliance. Okay, so this is these are the three bedrocks of our creating shared value principle. Okay, now these are the key commitments that we have made, and these are very bold, I must say, targets that we have set for ourselves. Again, these are not just numbers that we plug. These numbers actually really science-based target initiative that we have consulted widely within the industry. By 2025, we intend to ensure that 50% of our key raw and packaging materials are responsibly sourced, and this includes palm oil. We are deforestation free. We do not have any deforestation within our value chain. We want to ensure that 20% of our sourcing comes from regenerative agricultural practices. And then by 2025 as well, we want to ensure that we reduce our GHG emission by 20%. Okay, and of course, 15 landscape initiatives that we actively support. That is what we want to do in 2025. By 2030, we want to up the ante. We want to go to 100% responsibly sourced. We want to ensure that 50% of our sourcing is through regenerative agriculture. Of course, further reduce the GHG and also plant 100 million trees. I can tell you already in Malaysia, Singapore, we have planted 2.1 million trees. 2.1 million trees. And I'm sure that you would have heard of what we are doing under the tag name of Project Relief. And this is being done across East West Malaysia, and we would continue to do these initiatives to ensure that, of course, we contribute our quota to the 2030 ambition of planting 10 million trees globally. And of course, by 2050, which is the magic year, we intend to have a net zero emission as a company. Okay, we are not doing this. This is not lip service. Actually, these are hard numbers that we have thought hard about, and I am happy to share that we are meeting those numbers. This is the numbers at a glance. We were supposed to get to 20% of GHG reduction. As at 2024, we are at 20.38. Okay, we are already ahead, slightly ahead of the target, and within 2025, we intend to sustain this. Okay, through regenerative agriculture as well. Our aim was to get 20%. Today we are 21.3, and of course within 2025 we intend to also increase it, because we don't do it because again they are targets, so we get there and we stop. We know it is good for the environment. We know that it increases the yield. We know that it is good for our shareholders. We know it's good for our stakeholders down the value chain, farmers especially, increase yield, increase revenue. So for us, we just don't stop at these numbers. We intend to exceed the expectations of these numbers. Within our manufacturing sites, actually in all our factories, I don't know how many of you have had the privilege to visit our sites. We ensure that we reduce our emissions also in this angle. Here we have solar panels that run our administrative blocks. We are using very low carbon emission energy sources, and ensuring that wherever we can, we are purchasing also from green energy sources. Okay, water usage as well. We intend to reduce our water usage, and lastly, of course, like I mentioned, we intend to ensure that majority of our sourcing is coming from no deforestation sites. And as at 2024, we are approximately 94%. And of course, palm is an area where we have, of course, made very good progress in, and we intend to sustain the progress. In the area of responsible sourcing, we have a focus on these 14 ingredients. And as you can see, palm is at the very first of it. It is very dear to our hearts. It is used in almost every key product that you love. Our favorite Milo contains palm. Our favorite Kit Kat contains palm. The Maggi that you enjoy so much and we all enjoy so much and love contains palm. It is in almost all our SKUs, and it is an ingredient that we really cherish, and we want to ensure that we can assure our consumers that this ingredient that is in your product that you love, okay, is coming from a very sustainable place. It is coming at no additional harm to the environment. It is coming from partners who are responsibly sourced and who have been certified by bodies such as the MSPO. Of course, in that list as well, you have coffee, our favorite brand as well, cocoa, which goes into Milo, and then dairy. Okay, all these ingredients, our aim is to ensure that 50% of these ingredients are responsibly sourced. Our responsible sourcing, of course, hinges on environment, it hinges on compliance and ethical behavior. It hinges on safety, health, and environment in the workplace. Also, lastly, it hinges on labor and good labor practices. Okay, so 50% of our ingredients have to be sourced from these sources by 2025. Of course, by 2030, we expect 100% of these ingredients to be responsibly sourced, and we are well on track. I can assure you that as of 2024, we have 44.5% of these ingredients that I mentioned at responsibly sourced. A bit behind, but of course, it's 2025. That is the target, right? So definitely, there is a lot of work ahead of us this year to ensure that we exceed the expectations and are well in line to meeting the 2030 expectations. At this point, I want to pause a bit. Are there any questions? If there are none, I know that I have 15 minutes, so I'll just quickly proceed and then zero a bit in onto palm. So for palm in Malaysia, Singapore, and these numbers are pretty new numbers, we spend approximately 47 million CHF on the vegetable fat and oil space, where palm is a category. For palm and palm kernel, approximately we spend 43 million overall. So that is a big contributor. No. 36 million, million. That is a big contributor in the overall portfolio. In terms of volume, we do consume about 50,000 metric ton in Malaysia, Singapore, making us the 13% contribution to our zone AOA, which is Africa, Oceania, and Asia. And also globally, we are 6% in contribution from a volume-wise. And of course, we work across multiple plants and partners to get this volume. As I mentioned, we are in almost every business segment as palm, and palm, of course, makes up the biggest of these volumes. And that is why it's even important for us to ensure that this ingredient and this product that touches every facet of our beloved SKUs is coming from a responsibly sourced partners and coming from responsible sourcing value chains. And again, MSPO plays a big part of this. So the volumes we buy is where we try to focus on as a first start, ensuring that we have a clear traceability, okay, to the mills, to the plantations of the volumes we source, ensuring that we have no deforestation verified, ensuring that, of course, the origins are responsibly sourced, and we also incorporate regenerative agriculture. That is the first one. Then we look at our partners. Okay, our partners, responsibly sourced partners, are they respecting the human rights and environment due diligence, and are they going according to them? Okay, that is up chain for coming to Nestlé, and also to ensure that we collaborate with stakeholders across the value chain. And that again is why for us, we are very proud to be part of this. And some of these stakeholders, of course, are of course MSPOs, but not limited to MSPO. Also the suppliers that are certified, the mills that are certified, the dealers within the value chain. We collaborate to see how we can bring climate and of course responsible sourcing to the forefront of the discussions. Then, of course, the other topic that is very, very dear to our hearts is the topic of human rights. Of course, if you've been following the topic of palm for a long time, and I must say, I don't consider myself as following it for that long, but yeah, I think 10 years is still, I still call myself a baby in the space. I know people have been following palm for over 40, 50 years. But yeah, if you've been following it for as long as I have, human rights is a big concern within the value chain. Of course, it's important for us as well. And that is where, of course, we also want to ensure that we drive the best practices, where we monitor these 5 key focus areas in terms of identification of the risk in the sourcing regions. So do a traceability, do a mapping. Okay, then we go into assessing the human rights due diligence systems in our value chain. This, of course, happens with supplier assessment, and I'm happy that in the latest MSPO 2.0, you have the International Labour Organization and some of its best practices incorporated in there as well. Then also address the risk once they are identified, and also, of course, have collective action across the value chain. Of course, all of it with a grievance management system that is embedded. So these are the 4 areas. The last one, of course, is monitoring and reporting on the progress and actions that we are making. Okay, so this for us is also the other focus that we want to bring, especially with regards to the palm value chain. Like I mentioned earlier, we are very proud to have MSPO, of course, continually evolving, continually upgrading, and continually upping the ante to ensure that we get to a very, very strong certification of all our mills, of all our plantations, of all our dealers, and we are happy to form any partnership that would ensure that this ambition of MSPO comes to life. Because as you will be able to see, you've seen from my presentation, if it does, of course, our ambitions also come true. So we are actually tied to the hips on this, and we expect. We shouldn't expect anything different. We'll continue to be tied to the hips to ensure that our common objectives are met. So thank you very much for having me. I don't know, Ajeng, how I'm doing in terms of timing, but yeah, I'm available to take any questions if there are any.
Yeah, you're doing very great, Mr. Joseph, on your timing. Okay, so regarding question, would you like to take question now, or would you like it to save it or to reserve it later for our Q&A session? I think it's around 11:20 like that.
Okay, maybe I can take 1 or 2 now, and then maybe the rest I can take. Since my timing, I'm still within my timing. I'm happy to take 1 or 2 at this point, if that is okay with you.
Okay, so let me ask the secretariat, the organizer. Do you guys already have any question for Mr. Joseph? If you guys have, kindly share it to the screen. Yeah. So yeah, while waiting, yeah, you guys, the participant can also scan the QR code and later just submit your question. Yeah. So if you're the first one, then yes, please do share your question, and we will ask Mr. Joseph to address your question. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the questions will come at the 11:20, like you mentioned.
11:20.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, it's okay. So yeah. So whilst the participants submitting their and my team sharing the QR code, I would like to look at some of the key takeaway for Mr. Joseph presentation. Mr. Joseph, correct me if I'm wrong later. So yeah, so Nestle looking at this responsible sourcing as one of the business strategy. Yeah, correct.
Yes.
So yeah, so I and then the main goal is moving towards net zero. With already 2.1 million tree has been planted under Project Relief in Malaysia,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and it's looking to continue. Correct.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I mean this is a very big contribution to the country, Mr. Joseph. So I think on behalf of Malaysian, we would really like to thank Nestle Malaysia for all this effort that you guys have done and are looking towards continue doing in the few more coming years.
No,
And
thank you, rather. We do this with so much pleasure and humility. Thank you.
yes, yes, you're welcome again, Mr. Joseph. And also, Mr. Joseph, one thing that really piqued my interest earlier when you mentioned, okay, one of the things that you Nestle is looking to do is for collective action, for collaboration. I
Yes.
think we at MSPO also share this value because there are a lot of things that we wanted to do, okay, for the environment, for the country, for the labor, but we cannot do it alone. Am I correct? So
Very correct.
so yes, we need to do collaboration, of course. Yeah, collaboration with there's a lot of participants here also, some of it coming from big corporation and some of medium corporation, small corporation. It's okay. So participants, okay, if you can have any collaboration with MSPO or with Nestle Malaysia, okay, feel free to approach us also.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I must say that you say that, and just to hammer a bit, and that is, of course, the spirit of the discussion we are having, and that is why we are again happy to be part of this, to show our strong support for MSPO, and to also explore new areas that we can collaborate. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. So I think okay, I think the question will come later, Mr. Joseph. So
Definitely.
yeah, so we're looking towards to hearing from you later. I think around 11:20 or 11:30 like that. Yeah. Okay. So moving on, ladies and gentlemen. So I hold on, yeah. Okay. So moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, an entity's preparation for audit certification is a vital step in obtaining or retaining their MSPO certification. Some of the questions that might come to the mind of the person in charge of the audit would be, what are the things that we need to keep updated? Is there a new regulations that has been imposed by the government? Or are we ready for MSPO 2.0? The most popular question that we have received. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, let's keep those questions in mind as we welcome our second speaker today. So our second speaker today is Mr. Mohd Amin Adrah, who is a professional technologist in the field of chemical technology. He holds a Master of Science in Environmental Technology and a Bachelor of Engineering in Chemical Engineering Biotechnology. He has successfully completed and passed a number of management system lead auditor courses that has contributed to his personal and professional development, including ISO 9001, ISO 45001, ISO 14001, SA 8000, MS 2530, Standard 2022, MSPO 2.0, and RSPO principles and criteria. He has more than a decade of professional experience as an implementer, internal auditor, lead auditor, consultant, and trainer in international organization of standard ISO and Malaysian standard MS related management systems. He has been actively providing practical solutions in the field of occupational safety and health for more than 10 years in the palm oil industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome professional technologist Mr. Muhammad Amin Adrah with his topic MSPO Readiness, taking up MSPO 2.0 certification. Mr. Muhammad Amin, the floor is yours.
All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Before I proceed, Mr. Ajeng, you could hear my voice?
Yes, we could hear your voice loud and clear.
All right. Thank you. Okay. First of all, I would like to say thank you to MSPO, the CEO of MSPO and the MSPO team for inviting me as a speaker for MSPO webinar today. So I'm Muhammad Amin bin Adrah. So I'm actually given a topic in terms of MSPO readiness, taking up MSPO 2.0 certification. And I would like to say thank you to Mr. Ajeng for the introduction. So in general, myself is an auditor, consultant, and also a trainer related to Malaysian sustainable palm oil. All right. So before I proceed, I just would like to share with everyone for today's session, around 20 minutes, I'll be sharing the following information with all the participants. First, I will share in terms of the readiness for the existing certified organization. Then I just would like also again to share about in terms of the readiness for any organization which is yet to be certified with the MSPO, which is the MSPO 2.0, which MS 2530 2022. And then the third topic that I will be discussing today is actually the changes, the comparison between the previous standards, which established in 2013, compared to the latest standard MS 2530 2022. And the last one, we will actually discuss about the readiness and compliance that's in general need to be complied with any organization that are going to be certified with MS 2530 2022 or MSPO 2.0. Okay, here I'm going to share in terms of readiness for existing certified organization. During MS 2530 2013, among the organization has already been certified, such as the oil palm plantation and also the palm oil mill and also a SPOC and then organized smallholder. They are actually the existing certified organization. So what you can do in terms of your readiness towards transition towards the new standard of MS 2530 2022. First of all, I would like to encourage every organization who has been certified with MSPO 2013. You may attend the workshop being offered for free by our MSPO, which they usually name it as MSPO 2022 Standard Seminar and also MSPO Workshop. They just recently released the date for the MSPO Workshop. And then, as I was being told during this MSPO Workshop, they will actually give assistance and guidance to the industry in terms of how you're going to comply to the new standard requirement. Because in this particular year, 2025, all existing certified organization, you need to be transitioned to the new standard MS 2530 2022. All right. Other than that, other than these two types of seminar or training that you can attend, you could actually also enroll in training provided by endorsed training provider by MSPO. Recently, they have endorsed training provider for MSPO lead auditor courses and also awareness courses is being provided by all the endorsed training provider. You can actually look into the list available in MSPO website on the list of endorsed training provider. Okay, once in terms of the existing certified organization, once you have attended the awareness course and once you know what is actually required by the new standard, the second step that you're going to do is actually to review your MSPO documentation and implementation, which you need to do the transition from the MS 2530 2013 to the MS 2530 2022. Later on, in the third topic, I'll be discussing among the generals requirement, the new requirement that probably critical for you to review in your existing documentation for MSPO and in terms of implementation. So we'll further discuss that on the third topic later on. And then once you complete your review, you may actually start to request proposal or quotation from the accredited certification body. As being mentioned by Mr. Shan just now, there are around 23 accredited certification body throughout Malaysia, which also available in the website. You can actually look into and request quotation from this SCB. Okay, once you receive the quotation or proposal from the SCB, you need to choose which SCB that you are interested, and you need to apply for certification from the SCB. Okay, as existing certified organization, a few elements that you may look into when you receive the proposal or quotation from the SCB. Among the things, in terms of the risk assessment, whether in terms of the classification towards the organization, whether you are a low risk organization, medium risk, or a high risk organization, because later on, once if you are under group certification, they will have an effect in terms of the audit sampling. The numbers of sample that will be sampled by the SCB during the years of your audit, and then it will also affect in terms of the audit duration, the numbers of mandates being offered to your organization. So you may look into these three elements when you receive the proposal or quotation from the accreditation certification body. All right. Because later on, when you receive the number of mandates, commonly the price given to each organization is based on the mandates of audit for the organization to be certified. So it will affect in terms of the pricing that is being provided to your organization. So that is among the things that you can actually check into when you receive the proposal or quotation. Once you already agree to select one accredited certification body to certify your organization, you may continue with the certification process, which among for the existing certified organization is the transition audit. And then if your organization already complete the fourth cycle of the surveillance audits in the previous standard, then you're going to undergo a recertification audit. But if you're still in the surveillance audit, you will actually continue until you complete the 5-year cycles of the certification for MSPO. Right? So that's in general for existing certified organization in terms of what you need to be ready if you would like to be certified with the new standard of MS 2530 2022. All right. Whereas for the non-certified organization, such as our palm oil dealers and also our palm oil processing facility, so this actually among the step a little bit different from the previous existing certified organization. First, of course, you need to attend the seminar awareness for the new standard for you to know what is actually your organization required to comply to the new standard. And then, of course, once you attend the seminar, now you are aware about what you need to comply. You need to prepare all the MSPO documentation and start your implementation within your organization. All right. So in terms of preparation of MSPO documentation, uh, commonly what's happened in the industry, it's either two. You can do it internally or you can do it externally. Externally means you need to you need to appoint a consultant, but it's not compulsory. It's actually, you can actually carry out by yourself in terms of the development of the documentation within your organization also. But some of the legal requirement, you need to have a competent person or a registered person with the government agency for you to carry out the assessment. So later on, also we are going to discuss in terms of the readiness and compliance. And then once you already prepare and implement the MSPO within your organization, you may actually start to request the proposal or quotation from the accredited certification body. As we mentioned earlier, there are around 23 of them. And then you may proceed, choose and apply for the certification from the SCB. And similar like before, you need to look into in terms of the risk assessment, the audit sampling and the audit duration being offered to your organization. And then you will continue with the certification process. For non-certified organization, you will start with stage 1 audit, and then you will continue with stage 2 audit. Then you will have to continue after stage 2. There are around 4 times of surveillance audit. Only then you will continue with the recertification audit. So that is what will happen during for non-certified organization. Okay. All right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the third topic of my presentation today. I'm going to discuss what is actually among the elements or indicator or the standard requirement that has a little bit changed from the previous standard of 2013 compared to the latest one, 2022. Okay, the first one, you need to look into the management review requirement, which was previously commonly this indicator is clearly stated in the principle number 1. In the latest standard, it was also stated in the principle number 1. But what you need to look into in terms of the indicator requirement of management review, it has been listed out what need to be reviewed by the organization during when they're conducting the management review. Okay, there among, I think there's around, around more than 10 elements or around 10 elements that you need to review. So you need to look into that, because in the 2013, it was not clearly mentioned about what need to be discussed during the management review, but the new standard has clearly stated. It almost similar if you are familiar with the ISO management system. It's almost similar to ISO management systems such as ISO 9001 2015. And then the second item that there's some changes towards the requirement in terms of the traceability record. Okay, the traceability record, it require you to have the information among the information that is commonly not included in the traceability record, such as the MSPO certificate number and certificate validity. The standard require you to have this information in your record. Okay, so that is among the new requirement. And then, of course, the latest standard, they put into consideration in terms of the organization need to establish a system to ensure that the organization within their business practice is ethically conduct and anti-bribery practice is practiced within the organization. So this new requirement have to be fulfilled by all the organization that's going to be certified under MS 2530. Other than that, the latest requirement under social impact assessment, previously SIA has been there inside the standard, but the new requirement in the social impact assessment, you need to carry out the social impact assessment in accordance to the guidance provided and published by the scheme owner, which is MSPO. So you no longer can use your own method to conduct the social impact assessment. You need to use the guidance established and published by MSPO. Right, and then you need to also put into consideration about the impact related to food security and also child rights. That is among the elements that you require to look into in the new standard. And then, of course, the new standard also discussing about if you are in oil palm plantation, there's a requirement for you to review the SIA once in every 5 years. So you need to look into the standard requirement. Other than that, among the changes in the new standard of MS 2530 2022 is related to the OSH records. Okay, it was in the previous standard. It was clear in the standard what the standard one, but now they put it in general that the organization need to keep the OSH records. So all organizations must be aware about what records you need to keep for you to comply towards the standard requirements, such as medical surveillance record, chemical health risk assessment record, noise risk assessment record, audiometric testing record. All these records, if you refer to the law, there's a requirement of the retention periods of the document. So please ensure you comply to the retention period of the documents. All right. Such as like medical surveillance, you require to maintain the record for 30 years. Safety and Health Committee for 7 years. So you make sure you comply to all these requirements. All right. Other than that, of course, among the elements that among the concern about the new standard is about related to forced labor towards our international commitment to ensure that all oil palm plantation activities, palm oil mill, oil palm plantation, SPOG, palm oil processing facility complied to all the requirement under the forced labor. So the requirement already be included in this new standard. Other than that, in the new standard, there are new indicator living condition which require the organization to carry out a water quality analysis. If you are using your own water processing facility, okay, you need to conduct the water quality analysis in terms of domestic use, right? So you need to look into that. And then there's a new requirement about GHG emission and also high conservation value. Previously, it was HBV, but now in the new standard, it has been changed to the high conservation value. And of course, HCV also, there's a guidance document will be published by the MSPO as being mentioned by Mr. Shan just now. MSPO plan for it to be released within this year for GHG emission calculator and also HCV guidance document. Other than that, last but not least, zero burning practice. Okay, maybe you overlook. Maybe you can try to look into this requirement because there's a new requirement for organization to have emergency preparedness and response for fire prevention in the new requirement of the MS 2530/2022. Right, so that is among the key changes in the new latest standard. All right, so in terms of readiness and compliance, okay, when I was being appointed by MSPO to deliver this topic, they requested for me to put more weightage on the palm oil dealers. Okay, so in general, this readiness and compliance is from the point of view of palm oil dealers. First, please ensure you have the MPOB license for you operating your business related to the oil palm industry. And then, of course, you need to have your SSM, your Sdn Bhd registration, or any kinds of organization registration, such as trading license if you are currently doing business in Sabah and Sarawak, make sure you comply towards the requirement of the local authority. And then other than that, rights to use land, please ensure you have the right to use the land. You need to show proof that you have the rights to use the land in terms of such as the land title. And if you rent it or any venture agreement, you need to have the agreement as a proof that you have the right to use the land. Other than that, make sure you have lesen alat timbang dan ukur for your weight bridge. And then if you're hiring a foreign workers, please ensure you have the permit penggajian pekerja asing. Once you have workers, please ensure you have employment contract for all your workers. And then please do ensure currently minimum wage order minimum is 1,700 ringgit. And then please ensure you comply to this requirement. When you want to be certified with the MSPO requirement, you need to comply to all these requirements. And if your workers is actually Malaysian, and of course foreign workers, you need to also pay their levy under EPF and SOCSO. And then there's a new requirement by the new amendment of the OSH Act Amendment 2022 in terms of requirement for you to have OSH coordinator for organization to ensure their compliance to the OSH requirement. Other than that, when you are using chemical hazardous to health within your organization, please ensure you carried out a chemical health risk assessment before you're handling the chemical. Other than that, when you are exposed to noise such as your lorry, your farm tractor, your genset, you're operating a genset. So all this equipment is generating a noise. So please make sure you carry out noise risk assessment. Okay, so and then there's quite a numbers of more other requirement that you need to comply. So please do comply towards the requirement. But this general requirement is among the minimum things for you to be certified with MSPO, for you to have. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all for my session today. Here's my contact number. If you would like to request in terms of training and consultancy, we are also one of the endorsed training provider under MSPO, under the name of MA Training Academy PLT. You may also refer to us for training and consultancy through the contact number. Mr. Ajeng, I think I'm done.
Yep, okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tuan Amin, for the very in-depth. Yet, although we allocated just a little time, but we believe that the 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 session given by Mr. Amin is already very in-depth already. Okay. Thank you once again, Mr. Amin, for the informative and interesting talk. So for now, we will move towards the Q&A session, ladies and gentlemen. So before we go to our Q&A session, we would like to thank you to all of our speakers, okay, for sharing their expertise and insights with us today. Your valuable contributions have truly enriched this session, and we are grateful for the time and effort you put into making this event a success. Okay, so as we move to the Q&A session, okay, so feel free to scan the QR code. This is your opportunity to ask any question that you may have, and if possible, okay, in your question, state to which speaker do you wanted to address your question. Okay, so we will do our best to address as many questions as possible. So I will give 2 minutes for you all to start scanning the QR code and ask your question, and we'll start addressing the questions 11:15. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can start directly with the questions. The Secretariat team, can you share what are some, the first question to our speaker? And I believe at the question later, the QR code will still be displayed, right? Okay, so okay, so we have our first question coming in for Mr. Darmarisyanto alias, okay, for Shan, okay. So the question is, Shan, okay, what is MSPO roles in ensuring market acceptability and credibility of MSPO certification outside Malaysia? Mr. Shan, kindly unmute your microphone. Ah,
Hello,
yes.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ajing. Okay, so what is MSPO? Okay, basically the MSPO certifications, we play a crucial role in ensuring the market acceptability and credibility outside Malaysia, through probably several key initiatives that we have. Like, for example, we have international recognitions. So MSPO, basically the MSPO standard itself are published on the globally recognized ITC standard map. So basically this is whereby we will enhance our visibility and our credibility among the international buyers and also the stakeholders. And also we have collaborations with agencies in Malaysia, like for example, the Ministry of Plantations and Commodities, Malaysian Palm Oil Board, MPOB, Malaysian Palm Oil Council, MPOC, and also other related agencies to actually promote the market acceptability. At the same time, we also have collaborations and future partnerships, like for example, with Nestlé and so on. And we also have these sustainability and traceability, whereby the certifications basically emphasize on the sustainable and traceable palm oil productions, which is increasingly demanded by global markets. So currently, from the previous standard, 2013, we have these MSPO trace, but for the MSPO 2.0, we have this platform, what we call as eMSPO for the traceability system. We also have the initiative basically probably on the confidence for the buyers, whereby we have the inclusions of the MSPO on the international platforms to basically ensure the confidence in sourcing the traceables, sustainable palm oil. And also we provide these market access by meeting the international standards. So this MSPO certified palm oil can gain better access to the global markets and fostering inclusivity and also the competitiveness.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Shan, for the comprehensive answers. Can we have the next question? Okay. Okay, another question to Mr. Shan. Okay. May I know who are peers who are involved under the peer review?
Okay. May I know who are peers? So I think these questions are basically asking who are the peer reviewers, if I'm not
Yes, I
mistaken.
think so. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so before I give the answer on that, basically I would like to explain what is the how to say, what is the who actually involved in between these. So basically, the peer reviewers will be appointed by the SCB, accredited certification bodies. So the peer reviewers are not appointed by the client or by the certificate holders. So the CB, basically, they will appoint these peer reviewers. So for the MSPO 2.0, we have about 23 peer reviewers. Basically, if you for the person who asking these questions, you can actually Google or any search platform. You can just probably type in MSPO peer reviewers, then there will be pop up on the MSPO peer reviewers for the 2022 version of the standard series. So you can click on that link. Basically, it will link you to our website. And in our website, we have the attachment of all these 23 peer reviewers that are endorsed by us from MSPO. So basically, Mr. Ajay, do I have time maybe to share the list or?
Yes, sure,
Okay,
Mr. Shan.
let
Yeah.
me maybe more clear if I help to share the list.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, maybe Mr. Ajay, can you could clarify if you can see my screen?
Yep. Yes, I
Yeah,
see your
so
screen.
basically, like I said just now, you can just type in MSP or peer reviewers. then you can click on this one. It will link you directly to our MSPO website. So if I click on this one, so basically, this is all the list that we provided. So basically, the list for the 2013 or MSPO 1.0 endorsed peer reviewer list were already taken out because it's not relevant anymore for this new standard, MSPO 2.0. So for the new standard, this is the endorsed peer reviewer list. You can click here and it will lead you to the attachment. So in this attachment, we have endorsed about 22 actually peer reviewer. So this peer reviewer will be appointed by the certification bodies to review the audit report. So we also include their field of expertise. So for example, if the audit report need a verifications or the expertise from the peer reviewer on the, for example, biodiversity, then they can contact the person in charge for this. So all on the total number of 22 peer reviewers are endorsed by us currently for the MSPO 2.0. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shan, for the comprehensive answers. Can we have the next question, please, Secretariat? Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay, my screen is still loading. Okay. Question 4. Is it question 4? Well, what about question 3? Can you share the question 3 first? Okay. So 4 question for Mr. Shan. Okay. I
Oh,
hope we
okay.
can get I hope we can get next question for Mr. Amin first, yeah. Mr. Amin, then we go back to Mr. Shan lah. Okay, so for this question, okay, we just go with Mr. Shan first, okay. So Mr. Shan, how does MSPO 2.0 address the issue of traceability in the supply chain?
Okay. So basically, how does MSPO to address the issue? Okay, how do we in MSPO address the issue of this traceability in the palm oil supply chain? So basically, we in MSPO we do have our enhanced traceability requirements. So basically, this MSPO 2.0 we introduce more stricter guidelines for the traceability to ensure that the palm oil products can be tracked throughout the entire supply chain. Like I mentioned earlier in my presentations, previously in MSPO 1.0, we do not have the auditable part for the dealer certification. But for the MSPO 2.0, we introduced the auditable part for the dealer system. So basically, the whole system from the upstream to the downstream is completed for the entire supply chain. And also, we do have the new supply chain system or the traceabilities, whereby it's more comprehensive mechanism to ensure that all levels of the supply chains are implemented. We do have the auditable module, we do have the reporting module, and also at the same time, we do have the module that for the what we call as for the processing facilities to basically declare their who are the buyers, who are the and so forth. And also, like I said, we do have the mandatory dealer certifications. It will be soon make it mandatory. And we do have that one to basically to make sure that all the entire supply chains are completed. So I hope that answers the questions.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Shan. Okay, Secretariat, can we have the next question? Hopefully, this next question is for Mr. Amin. Okay, so okay, okay, my screen is still loading. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay, this is a very specific question in BM, Mr. Amin. Okay, so question to Mr. Amin. Okay, untuk penggunaan racun, okay, for the use of pesticides, I believe chemical pesticides. Okay, okay, racun rumput. Okay, which mean herbicides. Okay, adakah termasuk dalam chemical handling juga? Is it within the I think CHRA if I'm not mistaken? Yeah. Okay, over to you, Mr. Amin.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Ajay. So the question is related to pesticide, whether it's also considered under chemical handling. If I can straightforward, yes, pesticide is a kind of chemical. So you need to ensure your procedure because there's a requirement in terms of how you're going to handle the chemical in the standard requirement. So you need to have the procedure for that particular use of the chemical. Other than that, when you are using chemical, you need to carry out the chemical health risk assessment before you use the pesticide within your organization. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I mean.
perhaps also, Mr. Amin, perhaps you can explain also, right, under which regulation of Malaysia that this chemical handling is being legislated under, and then perhaps you can also take some example, for example, from coming from the dealers, because I've encountered a question before. One of the dealers asked the question, if I'm using herbicides to spray within my compound, does it
Yes.
need to be included in the chemical handling? So perhaps this is the question coming from dealers. Perhaps you can expand a bit your answer on that. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So in terms of the use for dealers, yes, I do believe you are using, probably you're going to use herbicide within your premise to control the herbicide within your facilities. So yes, you need to comply towards the requirement under Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, where there's a specific regulation which name Occupational Safety and Health Use and Standard of Exposure Chemical Hazardous to Health Regulation 2000. Which you are required under this regulation. First, you need to have a chemical register. Okay, which this under this chemical register requirement, you need to identify all the chemical hazardous to health that is actually being used within your organization. So commonly people overlook that thought the pesticide is not a kind of chemical that need to be conducted the CHRA. So pesticide is one of it. And then diesel, if you are using diesel for your lorry, for your farm tractor, is also a kind of chemical that need to be assessed in terms of the CHRA. Other than that, if you perform any workshop activity within your premise, for example, you do maintenance of your lorry, you do, like, for example, you change the lubricant oil, and then you probably change your filter, and then you change, maybe you do some welding activity within your organization. So that thing is also considered as a chemical. Chemical can be also something like physical chemical, like for example, in terms of pesticide, maybe rodenticide, racun tikus is also considered a chemical, although it's a physical state of chemical, but it's also a chemical that you need to conduct the CHRA assessment. And then for your information, the CHRA assessment, you need to appoint a competent person which registered under Department of Occupational Safety and Health. Uh, only them can perform the assessment. Okay, the competent person. You are not allowed to carry out assessment on your own. All right, thank you, Mr. Jeng.
Okay, thank you very much for the comprehensive answer, Mr. Amin. Yeah, okay, so if we can share the next question. Okay, back to Mr. Shan. Okay, Mr. Shan, can you elaborate more on ITC involvement in MSPO 2.0 standard? Okay.
Okay. Can uh can I elaborate more? Okay. So basically, this ITC, which is also stand for the International Threats and no, ITC stands for the what is called that things ITC standard map actually. this one, plays a very significant role in enhancing the credibility and market acceptability, I would say. So basically, there will be like a benchmarking for us, and also for us to being listed on this ITC standard map. So MSPO 2.0 basically benchmark ourselves against other global sustainability standards. So it highlighting its compliance with international best practices, and also the market access, for example, for the international buyers. This milestone basically ensures the confidence in sourcing the traceable, sustainable palm oil. And for our Malaysian growers or Malaysian smallholders, it provides greater access to the global markets, basically. And it's also fostering the inclusivity and the competitiveness. And for the broader industry, it basically cements the Malaysia leadership in sustainable palm oil productions, and also reinforce its positions in the global trade.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shan, for your comprehensive answer. Can we go back to the previous slide, Mr. the Secretariat, regarding the yes? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, MSPO will yeah, okay, this one, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, MSPO will respond in writing via email, yeah, to the remaining question that were not being able to address verbally by our speakers today. So don't worry, keep those questions coming. Okay, let us know what are your thoughts. Okay, next question, Secretariat, Mr. Paran, for okay, this one is for Mr. Amin. Okay, you did mention that the quotation for the audit will be also based on HCV risk. Could you provide further explanation? Okay, Mr. Amin, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Paren, for your question. So in terms of the risk assessment, when a certification body going to provide any organization with a proposal, they are going to carry out the risk assessment. So among the element they put into consideration, how does the organization have an impact in terms of high conservation value? If you are located nearby to the protected areas, forest reserve, and then probably in terms of environmental point of view, if you are located next to a river, and then that's the one is in terms of HCV. And then in your particular area, there's actually a protected animals, endangered species. So that will actually increase the risk of your organization. But there's a potential for you to affect that HCV. And then other than that, accredited certification body will also put into consideration if within your area have any social impact issues. So that could also impact in terms of your risk rating. So in terms of what have we made known, the scheme document didn't clearly mention it's actually on the rights of the accredited certification body what element they would like to look into in terms of the risk assessment, because they need to establish their own procedure on how they're going to classify. So different accredited certification body will have a different scale rating of how they define your organization. So that's why I asked for you all to look into more. There's a probability, one accredited SCB probably classified your organization as a low risk, one organization classified you as a medium risk, or maybe one medium or maybe high. So you need to look into that things, because the different risk rating will affect the numbers of mandates of your audit. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Amin. Another question for you, Mr. Amin. I think we can have another 2 or 3 more questions. Actually, we're looking forward to having question for Mr. Joseph. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform us that Mr. Joseph have another meeting going on now. He did mention he will try to come in 11:30 if he will able to make it, but I think he's quite occupied with his meeting. So ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. Just let your question keep on coming. If you address it to Mr. Joseph, we'll email it to him, and hopefully he can respond later. Yeah. Okay. So question to Mr. Amin. So we'll take 2 or 3 more question. I think we still have some time. Okay, Mr. Amin, the question. Okay, how is the preparation for the transition to MSPO 2022, especially for small and medium scale stakeholders? Okay, do the small and medium scale has the challenges in terms of the new requirement added?
Okay, so I think this one is for part 2.1, is it? Are they referring to part 2.1?
Um, I so for
Independent
this one,
smallholder, maybe?
he didn't also mention independent smallholder, but small and medium scale. I think you can call this a small medium
Oh,
estate
I
above
think part
40
3.1.
hectare. Yes,
I
part
think it's a
3.1.
part 3.1.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just take it as a part 3.1. For any estate which is less than 500 hectare, you are actually classified under the requirement of part 3.1. Part 3.1 is actually for any organization which is from 40.46 hectare to 500 hectare, you will be classified under this part 3.1. When you are more than part 3.2, more than 500 hectare, you will be using the standard of part 3.2 lah. Okay, in terms of for oil palm plantation, which is less than 500 hectare, it's actually not that much different from more than 500 hectare. So in terms of what I've shared before, in terms of readiness and in terms of comparison, you need to make sure all those elements that I shared before, that's among the critical points that is changed. There has been new things into the requirement. Okay, one thing that everyone need to understand here, in the MSPO, there's no requirement. If you're familiar with the requirement under ISO management system, there's a requirement under clause 7.5 in terms of documented information, which you need to ensure all the name and details of the document and procedure. You know, sometimes you need to have the reference number, the review date, and so on. That is actually under the requirement under ISO management system. But under MSPO, ladies and gentlemen, there's no requirement for you to have that kind of reference system. That's mean I'm just saying in general, because this one everyone need to, like for example, if you would like to maintain your document under 6 principle, similarly like the previous standard, because like palm oil mill last time it was there are around 6 principle, whereas for the oil palm plantation there are around 7 principle, but still that some element still met the new standard, but you just need to rearrange it back into a different principle with the latest requirement. But even if you would like to maintain with the previous principle, it's just like the auditor's task for them to identify in terms of your compliance. The auditor need to look into the information from different kind of principle, because there's no such requirement for you to rearrange back. It's just that under MSPO, we'd like you to show that you comply towards the requirement of the MSPO. Like for example, last time the business management plan, it was in the principle number 6, and then now the latest requirement, it was in the principle number 1. So actually the auditors can look into the principle number 6. You don't need to change. If like last time, maybe you put your numbers of document 6.11, and the latest requirement probably I couldn't remember, but it's under part 1. Sorry, it's under principle 1. There's no requirement for you to change the reference number of the document. The standard just require you to have a business management plan, then you can actually refer to that. Okay, that's just one point of view. Other than that, the one that I share in my third topic, that is actually the common things that you need to ready. the management review, because last time, like management review, there's no such element. Like for example, you need to discuss about the changes in terms of the internal and external issue. That requirement is not required for you to discuss in the previous standard requirement. And then in terms of resources, and then what else? You need to also discuss about the needs and expectation of interested party in terms of the new requirement. So that's element, please ensure you do include it in the requirement. Other than that, as I mentioned earlier, there's a new requirement in terms of prevention of fire. Before this, there's no such requirement in the zero burning practice under principle number 5, but in the new standard requirement, you are required to do so. Right, Mr. Ajeng?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Amin, for your insightful answer. Well, I think, ladies and gentlemen, we're already 11:40, 5 minutes past our targeted time to wrap up our session. I think with that, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we can wrap up today's webinar, and I would like to take a moment on behalf of MSPO. Okay, we would like to express our deepest appreciation to our panel of speakers for today, Mr. Shan, Mr. Mohd Amin, Mr. Joseph, okay, for sharing their valuable knowledge and expertise. Okay, a special thank you as well, okay, for all of our participation, for all of our participants, okay, for your engagement, okay, thoughtful question and enthusiasm throughout the session. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any additional question, okay, or would like to connect directly with the MSPO team, okay, feel free, okay, to reach out to us via our official email, info@aliasmspo.org.my, or our social media via Facebook or LinkedIn. Okay, so before we officially close, ladies and gentlemen, here are some quick announcements. Okay, the recording and the presentation slides, okay, will be shared later, okay, via our social media. Okay, and please take a moment, ladies and gentlemen, to fill out our post-webinar survey. Okay, your feedback is invaluable in helping us to improve our future session. Okay, so stay connected with us, ladies and gentlemen, for updates and upcoming events. Okay, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude today's session. Thank you once again for being part of this webinar, and we look forward to seeing you in our future events. Stay safe and have a great day ahead. Thank you. Goodbye.